Welcome to Appliance Tech tutorial. On this video, I will be explaining every part on the top loader washing machine, why it's there, how to test the part, and how to repair or replace the part, provided the part requires a replacement. Since on this video, we will be using electricity on some time, I recommend that before you try attempting everything that I will do that uses electricity, you get trained for electricity or for electrical appliances before you try to attempt to work on them when they are live. Since I think this video might be long, let's start with what we are having here. This is the tab of the top loader washing machine. I removed the tab on that machine. So what is underneath the tab of the top loader is the motor, the capacitor, the gearbox, and we will have the pump motor and we'll have the drain motor. I like to call this the brake motor. I will explain why as we continue discussing these components or these parts. So if you remember what I said when I explained how a wash timer for a twin tap washing machine does, you would know that a motor on a washing machine, when we are washing the clothes, will go to this direction for certain seconds and changes the direction in another cycle or for certain seconds again, and then repeat the process until the course or the time set on the timer or on the PC board is complete. Then the washing machine will drain water through that pump motor and then put another water for rinsing, and after that drain water through that pump, and after draining that water the washing machine will spin, drying the clothes. So we know that the motor, during the time when the washing machine is washing, it goes this direction and that direction for certain seconds. So if you want to test this motor, you will have to forgive me when I'm making these videos. In most of the times I'm alone in the workshop, so I work alone. I don't have an assistant because of certain reasons. So on my spare time I make these videos alone, so no one will hold the camera for me to do certain tests that requires me to use both hands. Like I can't use a meter, so that is why I will do these tests live, and I like to do tests live in case my meter goes faulty and I haven't noticed. So when I test this motor and this brake motor and that pump live, I know I will never go wrong. So how to test this thing live? You just need a plug. I'm using this one. This is the plug for my vacuum pump motor that I use when I'm vacuuming refrigeration system before regassing the system. So this thing is written, let me see if you can see that there is neutral and there is live. So let me shine the light. Here it's our live side, right? And here is our neutral side. So I have neutral that side and I have live this side. So I know my neutral is this one, the black one, and my live is this one, the red one. So how do we test the motor? If you remember what I said when I explained how a wash timer works, you would know that a motor has 3 wires. The other one is neutral, which is this one, and the other one will be for the other winding and the other winding. So this is the capacitor. Red is connected to the red. So I said follow the color coding when you are wiring the capacitor. Red goes to where there is red here, and blue goes where there is blue from the capacitor then to the motor. So this capacitor is wired in parallel to the windings of the motor, but is not wired to the neutral wire of the motor. So this neutral wire, it's where our neutral from the AC source will go. So you can see that this neutral, um, where the neutral wire goes, there are two wires, black and white. So they do that because when neutral comes to the motor, they then bridge neutral to our brake motor, and they then again bridge neutral to our pump motor. So neutral underneath goes on three places. Sometimes other washing machines will have underneath um, a, a tachometer or a tachometer. Pronunciation doesn't matter with me as long as you get what I'm saying. That thing it stays underneath the motor to measure the motor, or it senses the speed of the motor. So when that thing goes faulty, also other washing machines that have that will have a problem. Others, they put a sensor somewhere here. I don't know for what reasons, but I've seen such machines. So that sensor also, when it's faulty, the washing machine will give you a problem. So you just measure the continuity of the sensor. If it gives us continuity, then we know that it's not faulty. But if it says open line, it's faulty. Just like the tachometer, it's the same thing. So now let's test this motor and see if this motor is working. How do we do that? So remember that I said neutral is white and yellow. So we will take our I didn't strip this thing. Let me strip it with my teeth. I'm failing. So I had to pause the video and take the wire stripper and strip this thing. So this is neutral stripped. So we will put neutral to neutral. So let's take neutral. This is neutral. There is electricity now. So um, we'll just clamp this one. Let's clamp it. So there is electricity there now going to the motor. So now if we want to run this motor, we need to take live. This is live, remember. So when we put live to the blue wire, the motor must run. So let's do that. So the motor is running, as you can see. So if we remove this live from the blue wire and put this live on this red wire here, the motor must change the direction. So this is what we will do now. We will remove this wire. We will remove. So now we are connecting to the red wire. So let's check which direction the motor is going. Is it away from us or towards us? So the direction is towards us. So when we go to the blue wire, the motor must change the direction and it must go now away from us. So let us wire this one. So the motor again is running. Now let's remove and check if the motor is now going away from us. So it was going towards us when we were on the blue wire. So now the motor is going away from us. So Now we don't doubt that this motor is working. It's 100% working. So should the washing machine be not starting the motor, the problem is not with the motor and the capacitor. So we are 100% sure that now the problem is either with the timer or the door switch or any other thing that is supposed to be starting the motor. So we've checked the fault on this motor and we saw that the motor is working. So there is no need for replacement for it. Other things that are likely to happen is that the motor will run, but they will say when they put load the washing machine is not cleaning clothes proper. So on that case, you need to come and check here. So what you see here is the gap. So that means this washing machine is close. I mean, this motor is close to the gearbox. So the fan belt will be a bit loose. So you will need to untighten these screws and move the motor away. Once you move the motor away and the fan belt is tight, the problem should be solved if that was the problem. So this is the brake motor. I said I call this a brake motor for a reason, because why I call this a brake motor, this thing unbrake the normally. Okay, let me go to the other twin tape and show you this. I mean to the other top loader and show you this um, before I explain something that you don't see or don't have a picture of. Now I came on this washing machine just to show you some few things that were not present on that washing machine. If let me see if I can be able to put this light on. Okay, on the gearbox, there are these threads that you see here. On that washing machine, I removed them. So what is happening here is there is a break. You can see this thing here. This thing here is breaking any move on these threads. Why is that? It's because when we are washing, we don't want the tape to spin. So when that brake is there, the tape will not spin, only the pulsator will spin during the time when we are washing. So now let's go back to that washing machine and continue where we left. So on this one, this is the brake. With this, it will be stopping this from moving by holding those teeth that you saw when we went to the other washing machine to check. So during the washing time, only this moves, and when this is moving, the pulsator is moving. So when the motor goes clockwise, the drive belt will then drive the pulsator clockwise. It will then drive it anti-clockwise when the motor goes anti-clockwise without this moving. So during the time when the tape has to move, what happens is the brake motor will pull this and it will move away those teeth, that teeth from stopping the teeth that you saw on the other washing machine. So when this is away, underneath those things there is a spring. This goes in here and the spring goes um, around this and that spring goes down. So when this is away, that spring now moves this thing. When this thing moves, then the tab on the inside will work. So the other faults that are likely to happen on these top loaders is that they will tell us that the washing machine washes, rinse, but when it's time to spin, it doesn't dry clothes. So when you go and check that washing machine and you put it on spin, you will see that the only thing that is spinning on the washing machine, it is the pulsator. The tape is not spinning. So now you would definitely know, if you know how a top loader works, that if the tape is not spinning, then clothes will not get dry. So on that case, it's either the brake motor is still braking there, so the tape is not, that is why the tape is not spinning. If you come and you check the brake motor and you saw that the brake motor is working and the motor is spinning, driving the fan belt and the wheel that uh, couple the motor and the gearbox, then the problem is with the gearbox itself. Either the spring that holds from here to here and moves that thing when the brake is away is broken. So on that case, you need to open, remove that spring, remove those teeth that you saw as I did, then check the spring. Should the spring be broken, you remove the spring, try to get another spring. If you can't get another spring, you're bad luck, then you need to replace the gearbox. But on the other video, I will show you how I get parts for washing machines and how to get those springs also. So if the spring is the problem, then replace the spring. Like let me see if I would be able to show you this. So what I did here, I just lifted the tab with my boot. So I will put my hands underneath here and try to move the tab so that you can see for yourself what I'm saying. Let's try to move the tab. Now observe here. I'm not able to, I'm unable to move it. Oh, I'm unable to move it, man. Let me pause the video. Okay, so I had to pause the video and put this thing so that I would be able to move the tape under inside this packet. So now see what's happening there when I'm moving it. See what's happening. This thing is moving. So that is why I said when this thing moves, the tape will move. So I think I have explained almost everything now about the gearbox. Oh, one more thing left. Sometimes the gearbox gets broken. So there's nothing you can do. The spring is right. You just need to replace the gearbox. So in order to remove the gearbox, you take out these screws, but trust me, you are not done. The gearbox won't come out. This is what you will need to do. Inside, underneath the pulsator, you take out the pulsator. Underneath it, there is this nut. So this nut requires a socket big like this one. They use these sockets to, they use them on trucks when they are changing wheels. So this one is number 38. Let me show you so that you can hear from me. So it's number 38. So most of these nuts, they are number 38, but you must always have 36 also in case you happen to get 36. I once changed the gearbox of a Hisense top loader. I liked what Hisense did on their top loader. They didn't fit this nut. You just unscrew it on the plate using a star or using number 10 of your spanner. So now you know how to remove the gearbox and what tools you need in order for you to be able to remove it. Trust me, you will not be able to remove the gearbox alone. You will need someone to help. That's when I hire an assistant temporarily. So enough about the gearbox. Now let's go to the brake motor. How do you test the brake motor? So we said the brake motor pulls here. It pulls using this. Let me take this thing out because this thing is not mounted. So a brake motor, this thing has a motor inside that will pull this wire on the inside. By doing that, it will be pulling the brake. So we've got electricity. When we put live there, the motor should start moving, putting that wire inside. Now let's connect. So the motor is moving and pulling that thing on the inside. So you see that the brake motor is working. So there is no need of suspecting it for fault. So now the client calls and says, my washing machine is not draining water. You need to come open here and check if the filter is not clogged, which will also clog the pump. So on the inside there is a motor. So that motor, if it's not spinning when we put 230, we know that it's faulty. It must be replaced. You can't repair this thing. You can see how will you be able to repair this thing. There's no way of repairing it. So let's check if the pump is working. Should the pump be working, then on that case, this thing must be dirty, clogged, because there is no way it will not drain if the pump is working. So let us plug it. So this one, when we plug it, the pump is not running. So you see that that motor is not running, and we've powered it, so the motor must be replaced. So this pump is faulty. I know before I installed it. So that's when you will have to replace. The only thing you are replacing is this. Don't buy the complete assembly. You are only replacing this. There are screws there that you open. So I had to pause and take some other pump motor to show you. So this is what you will be buying actually. So on this case, this pump motor is not the same as this one, that is faulty here. So what does that mean? You cannot replace this one with this one. So you need to remove this. If the nearest store has these pump motors, they will need a sample, because most of the places that sell electricity stuff, they don't know appliances. So if you come with the model number and the brand, it's the problem with them. You rather come with the sample. So that was it on what we have underneath the top loader, and that was it on based how you would test everything. So now let us move from here and come here on our top loader. So we want to know everything that is here, why it's here, how to test it, and everything. Okay, now let's continue here. These are the three main things that are very important to know. These are the inlet valves, you call it inlet taps, you call it whatever you want to call it. What they are doing is when you plug water here, they take what they open and the water goes inside the washing machine. So when the customer says my washing machine is slow when he, it's putting water, and then it ends up stopping, not even attempting to wash my clothes, you would come here. So in most cases, these ones that are close together, they are for cold, and the one that is away is for hot water. The reason is on cold, the washing machine will let water in when it's washing the clothes, and it will open the inlet tap or valve that will take that will go where there is soap. When it's rinsing time, it will then stop putting water with this one. If this one was responsible for taking soap on the inside when washing the clothes, it will open on this one. So the PC board, when it opens this one, the water will go where there is a softener and then to the tap. So that's that's how these things work when you've got two for cold. When you've got one, then you know that that washing machine does not need a softener to be put here. You can only do that after the washing machine has completed the washing course. Then you will have to clean this thing, remove that thing on the inside and clean it and make sure that there is no soap, and then put the softener. But in most cases, clients just put softener inside the buckets, and that's what I also advise, instead of using the basin that the detergent or soap goes to. Now, if the water inlet is low, the washing machine will give an error which will be saying the pressure for water is low, or the washing machine error will be just saying the water is not sufficient, so it will stop. So what do? You come to the inlet valves or taps, you test them. I use live electricity again. So if we plug here, this thing will buzz like boo. So that tells us the solenoid is opening. So let's do that. I don't know whether if you hear that sound. It's buzzing. So what it's doing now, it's opening. So what I like to do is, during this period when this thing is buzzing, I blow here with my mouth to check if this thing is opened. If it's not opened, or I struggle to get to push my air on the inside, then I know that this thing is faulty. So I will have to replace it. What I always do in most cases, I just take this one and put it on this side and take the faulty one to that other side when they're not using the hot water. Some clients use the hot water, so in that case you need to replace this thing, and don't do what I do. I always check if they're using, and I tell them before I do that, and I tell them it will be cheaper. So they in most cases they allow me, but some other clients, they don't allow me because they like to use hot water when they are washing their clothes. So what we did here, you do it here, you do here, you do it also here to test. So if these things, you test them and you see that they are working, you check the pressure of the water from the tap. Should the pressure be right, you need to start the machine yourself through the PC board and check if the PC board does open this tap. So if the PC board or the timer does not open them, then you know that the fault is not here, the fault is on the PC board. So that was it on these tabs. So now let's continue to another things that we used to have here, but this washing machine doesn't have anymore since I'm stripping these things. So one more thing that the other the washing machine will have, the top loader, is this. This is the pressure switch. There is a pipe that goes to the tap of this washing machine. You see this pipe, it's the one. So when we put water on the tap, or when the machine opens for water, there is a back pressure created on this thing. So there will be a signal sent um, to the PC board by this pressure switch. So when the signal is being received by the PC board, then the PC board will start the washing process, depending on what level we've set on the PC board. So when a pressure switch is faulty, the washing machine will fill water, fill water, fill water until it overflows. So when that overflow happens, the client will call and tells us that this washing machine fills water non-stop. So on that case, you need to replace the pressure switch. Okay. At last but not least, other washing machines, or the majority of the washing machines, here there will be a door switch that this will short circuit or close when we are closing the door, and when we are opening the door, that switch will go down and it will make an open circuit. So the motor will not start. In most washing machines, the motor will not start when the washing machine is spinning. So it will display DE on the board. So how to test that door switch? You just test it for continuity. So if it's not giving continuity, you need to replace the washing machine. So with that door switch, as you can see, there is a hole here. Other washing machines, they put the door switch here, then there is a lever that goes here. So what that lever does is it's checking for vibration of this tap. So should the vibration be too much, say the washing machine is not level, so that lever will create an open circuit, and the washing machine will stop washing and will give an error also. So you need to check such things. If the door switch is giving continuity, but the client complains that when the washing machine is spinning it gives an error, check that lever. Maybe that lever is very close to the tap, or maybe the washing machine is not level. I once bought a Hisense washing machine that had that problem. Almost two guys came to fix that Hisense and they couldn't get the fault. So when I got to the client was already having a new machine. The client was selling that machine. So imagine, I bought for that machine and fixed only that thing, and I had to sell the machine. I bought it cheaper and sold it with a higher price. So that is also very important to check. Um, Other washing machines like LG washing machines, LG doesn't like to put this door switch in most cases. What they like to do, they like to put the magnet like on their door, somewhere here or here. They will put the magnet, so the board here, when we close the door, will sense that magnet. The sensor will be in the board. So when we close the door, the magnet comes to the sensor, and there is a closed circuit, and when the door is away, the magnet is away, and there is an open circuit, so the washing machine will give us a door error. So on LG washing machines, you will just have to check where the magnet goes. If the magnet, say it was here, or it's here, or it's here, you check if the magnet is still there, because should the magnet be not there, then the machine will give that door error. Should you be unable to see the magnet, what I do, I just take the magnet, a piece of a magnet, and put it on top of the sensor and tape it or glue it. Then that washing machine will not give that problem again. But on such things, I always warn my clients that they should make sure that kids don't come around and play to the machine when the machine is spinning, because since the magnet now is no longer to the door, the tab will not stop when they are opening, because this is a top loader. It's not a twin tab that stops that breaks the motor when you open the door. So that was it on top loader washing machines. So if you tested everything and everything is right, then you should know that the PC board is faulty. For example, the washing machine is not putting water inside. You tested the solenoid or the inlet valve, and you saw that it's working. Now you need to start the washing machine, put it on wash cycle, and go to the solenoid and measure if there is 220 there or 230 there. When there is no 230 there, you know that the PC port is not supplying the 230. That is why water is not getting inside. So you need to replace the PC port or do the fault finding on the PC port, since the PC port is using the transistors for switching these things. Then you go to those transistors, check if those transistors are they faulty or not. I've got a series of videos where I am explaining a PC port of a DeFi DTL 149. So if you go and check for those videos, you would understand which transistor you must go to in case these valves or one of these valves is not working. That was it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.